Welcome. It is another edition of Anchored in Milwaukee, the official FC Milwaukee Torrent podcast. I'm your host, Luke, here to talk all things FC Milwaukee Torrent soccer with you. Anchored in Milwaukee is now available on Spotify, so check us out there and keep an eye out for us soon on other podcast platforms. We have a pretty special episode for you today. Milwaukee FC Torrent men's coach and former Boca Juniors player Carlos "Cacho" Cordoba is going to join us to remember his teammate and friend Diego Maradona. We'll also answer your questions on air, but first we have some news to share with you. The men's team had the official announcement of their division in the MPSL for 2021. The men will feature in the Great Lakes Conference of the Midwest region. The 6-team conference will feature a variety of new opponents for the Torrent, as well as one very familiar team. Joining the Torrent in the Great Lakes will be Carpathia FC, FC Columbus, FC Indiana, Panathinaikos Chicago, and Michigan trophy rival, the Muskegon Risers. Roster announcements continue each week, with another 2 men and 2 women added to the FC Milwaukee Torrent rosters. On the women's side, the return of midfielder Kylie Sprecher was announced. Sprecher played collegiate soccer for the Marquette Golden Eagles and has previously been called into the U19 and U20 U.S. national team camps. Joining her is defender Abby Klober. Abby currently plays for UW Milwaukee and hails from the Appleton area. Welcome, Abby. On the men's side, forward Malik Manana was announced. Manana played collegiately for Colorado Mesa University and recently played overseas in Germany. The second announcement on the men's side is Connor Proven. Proven is from Sussex and played for UWM. He was also a standout star at Sussex Hamilton. If that last name sounds familiar to you, it's because he is the nephew of current Torrent play-by-play man, Simon Proven. Welcome, Connor. I'm now honored to welcome our guest, the coach of FC Milwaukee Torrent men's team and a former captain of Boca Juniors in Argentina. Carlos Cordoba joins us now, the man known as Cacho. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hi, Luke. How are you?
Good.
And hi to everybody there.
Good. Thanks for being on here. And at some point, we want to have you on so that we can talk about, the Torrent and the upcoming season and players and tactics. But today, we wanted to just let you share your thoughts about your friend and your former teammate, Diego Maradona, the international legend. If anyone's listening to this, they know that name. He passed away in November at the way too young age of 60. So first, I wanted to offer my condolences and then just let you tell us a little bit about your friend and what he meant to you.
Well, first of all, I appreciate that the chance to talk to you and talk to the people. Of course, there was a very sad moment, and to be honest with you, all of us who knows him and was friends with him, we never expect this because he always got some things before. He went to, he had some problems. We know he was going to the hospitals, but he always, like we say, he always beat the hospitals and the things. He always was coming out of everything. And, and even before he died, he was in the hospital because he got a surgery in the head. And we thought, because we talked to some friends with the family, and we know that moment, that could be the end, because we thought, and the family thought, then he was not going to pass the anesthesia, the anesthesia before. And, but he did it. He did it. So everybody was okay. We was happy, and 2 weeks later, that come up, nobody really expect that, and it hit us more because we was not prepared. When he was going to hospitals and things like that, we always expect something that can happen, and the surgery, that was something then we was expecting, and something probably could have happened, but it didn't. So, we say, hey, he did it again, he beat it again. And, but unfortunately, then he come up with that, and it was very sad moment.
When did you guys first meet?
Well, it was funny because I met Diego even before he came to Boca Juniors. It was in 1979. a friend of mine from my neighborhood, for where I grew up, he was part of the national team with Diego. Then they win the youth, the World Cup in Japan. All right. So one day he bring Diego to the neighborhood. So I was there. I was already playing in Boca Junior. I was already knows who he was, but I never get the chance to meet him. So my friend bring it to the neighbor. So Diego came to our neighbor, and we play in scrimmage there with all our neighborhood, all our people see Diego and in his best version when he was very young, and that was when I met him. He was just, I think, 17 or 18 years old. And that was 2 years before he came to Boca Junior. He came to Boca Junior in 1981. And I'm older. I'm at 1958. He's 1960. But then we cross sometimes in some practices in the national team. But we was not friends. At that moment, we just know each other. When he came to my neighborhood, then there are things that start changing, So when he came to Boca in 1981, he find me over there. I was the one who knows him. And of course, he was already having some guys that he knows. But that's how we start, And but the funny part was that I met him before he came to Boca. And that was the good thing. And I met it in my neighborhood, which that was even better because it was all our friends. And Diego was like that. Diego was just a guy who likes to be with the friends, with family. He was kind of like that,
So it almost sounds unbelievable. You're playing in a neighborhood game with Diego Maradona. I mean, what's he like as a 17-year-old kid when you're playing in the neighborhood?
Well, the funny thing was everybody knows Diego at the age of 15. That was when he made his professional debut in Argentina juniors. But everybody knows him before that. And the reason was because, in Argentina, when you play the first teams normally you have the ball boys. All right? So Diego was a ball boy from Argentina juniors. So when the Argentina juniors play at home, every time, and every time they play at home, so Diego was the ball boy. So when the first half was over, teams goes to the locker room, all right? And Diego was for 15 minutes on the middle of the field, juggling the ball. So everybody in Argentina knows Diego before that because nobody at that moment was doing that. We play soccer, everything, but we was not juggling all those things. But Diego was, he loved the soccer ball. The ball was the best friend he got. And he was doing that for 15 minutes. The ball never touched the ground. And every time when the players returned to play the second half, people was yelling, no, go back there, let the kid there. So Diego was even famous before he started playing in the professional level. It was unbelievable. And he was recognized also because he was playing for a team called the Cebollitas, the little onions. All right. So everybody also know in Argentina that there was a kid who was doing that. So when Diego made the pro debut, people knows already about him. I knew about him. I was 2 years older. And when I was now playing with Boca, for some reason, I was now playing with the first team. When Diego come up, I was going to see him play. so I was not going to watch Boca. I was going to see him play because he was for another planet. When Diego come up, it changed everything. Everything changed because he was from another planet, So that was the thing. But everybody knows him even before he started playing pro. So that was the amazing part about Diego,
Yeah. So he arrives at Boca in 1981. You're already there. It's one of the most famous clubs in the world. Did he seem intimidated by that at all? Was he excited? What was kind of the mindset that you gathered from him?
Well, he was excited because he was a big Boca Junior fan. I was all my life. I was a Boca Junior as a kid. He was a Boca Junior. So he was he was very excited. And at the moment that he arrived in Boca Junior, that was a bad year. The year before, 1980, that was a bad year. We was coming for a very successful 1976, 77. That was good. Boca win a lot of tournaments, a lot of international. So the team was with a lot of big time players. So Diego was Diego, but Boca was having a lot of big time players. So at the beginning, he get a little, he didn't know much. His agent, Diego, when he came to Boca, Diego was 19. All right. His agent was 20. so and of course he came here one day. Some of the players there, big guys, I think it was the first or the second day of training. This guy was not playing and come to training. He got a great car, making a lot of noise. So he came and to the practice making noise. So the Diego's agent, he get down from the car, and the agent told this guy, "Hey, slow down a little bit. Diego's sleeping." And this guy looked at him and he said, "When he get all the titles that I got, then he can talk." So the guy find out, okay, this is not going to be easy, So Diego knows about that because the guy told him, and I knew it. And I knew it. So I was there, and then I remember I went to his room and say, "Hey, don't worry about it. This is going to be okay." Some of these guys, they're older. You know how is the older players in this country, so be careful, but they love you. They got their pride because they've been doing this for many years. They win a lot of tournaments with Boca. They're big time guys. They want to make sure that that you got to respect them. But at the end of the day, they will love you without a doubt. So don't worry about it. Be yourself. So we're building something very good with Diego from day one because I knew what was going to happen. I was there with that group since I was 17. And at that moment, I was 22. I was already having 4 or 5 years with the team. So I knew what was going on. And he don't because he was coming from a small club. Even though it was Diego, compared that his club with Boca, it was day and night. But Diego was Diego, young, an agent, very young. They don't know much, something. So there we're building with him at that moment because he knows that he got something to talk, somebody to talk, And me, there was another guy named Perotti, the father of the guy who played for Roma now. For Roma, the father of that guy is also younger than me, 1 year younger. So he was in the team. I was in the team. I think it was maybe one more guy, Ruggeri. Then even Ruggeri even was younger than Maradona, but Ruggeri was already in the team. He was a great player, and so he find 3 or 4 guys of his age, and somehow we protect him, making sure that the older guys understand him, the way he was. And Diego was fantastic because he was smart enough, not only in the soccer field, he was smart outside. He knows the rule, and he went through. At the end of the day, the older guys, if Diego was coughing, those guys would just get a blanket, say, "Hey, don't get sick," something. At the end of the day, that was the way we protect him because he was with us for 1.5 years, and we really after everybody. There was no one that don't protect him. We was just making sure that he was feeling good, but we know that it was going to be for a short time, and at one point he was going to leave. We all know that because he was not belong more in Argentina, so, but we was happy just to have him over there. We protected, we take care of him, and he was great. That year and a half, that was fantastic.
So he's playing for Boca for a year and a half. He scores 28 goals in 40 games. You guys win a title. Is there one standout moment that you remember being on the field with him that's just kind of in your memory forever?
Well, there's two things, two moments, and the casualty is there was both against the same club, River Plate, our rivalry. I got a picture with him. We play in River, and we tied. He scored both goals, and he scored for a penalty kick in the last moment. So he took the kick, he scored a goal again over. There was no rebound, was nothing. And for us to do that in River Plate Stadium was a big thing, So then after we celebrate, and I got him, on top of me, I just get it, and we both are celebrating. That was a great moment for me. And then the other was, again, River Plate and the Boca Junior Stadium. The day that there was one night and we beat River 3-0. I give Diego the pass, and then he scored a great goal. And according to him, probably is the second best goal in his career, because I do something good, and he finalized something fantastic the way he did it. And that game, it marks both of us. Him, because the Boca Junior fans have that goal like the best goal of the history of the classic Boca River. That is the number one goal for the Boca Junior fans. And I was involved with him. There's something, I do a play, I give it to him. They always, guys, every year they pass it. So my family all the time, the friends are there, oh, we see you on TV today, we see. So I've been forever with him because of that goal, because those two moments, I've been attached to him, like in a stamp. And so that is the moment that I have, and that was great. That was a great night. And that's the moment that, I will never forget about it,
So he leaves Boca and he heads over to Barcelona and plays at Napoli for a long period of time. Were you guys able to stay in touch relatively well while he was over in Europe?
We always was in touch. Sometimes take a long time, sometimes less time. And then after, it was in the last time we get together. This was in the 1995. I think there was, we get together to play the first indoor World Cup. And that was in Mexico, Pachuca. And I was the coach of the national team. He still playing, and I was the coach. And I went there, unfortunately, because a friend of ours died in a car accident. So I went over there, and they made sure that I was coaching the team because I was the only one who played indoor. So they told me, you got to do this. And so I called my wife. I went just for 5 days, and I have to stay 45 days. So I called my wife. I told my wife, I said, look, this is what happened. Please don't ask me for the divorce. So I got to do this. The guys, we need to do it. We're going to collect a lot of money for the widow of our friend. So that money goes to her. And Diego's going to play. And, and that was all the time we meet, and he played. And he never played indoor before. He didn't even know what indoor soccer was. So when we started training, we got the walls and everything. So he said, Cacho, how is this? I said, okay, it's a little bit complicated with the doors. So you got to learn how to play with the doors. Do you see hockey? High hockey, Yeah, I say, okay, it's kind of like that. Somebody get in from this door, somebody get out. The referees, the lines, and okay. So he was just making sure that everybody, then all the players, say, guys, you gotta listen to Cacho. He's the only one who knows this. So nobody can say one word. So I was in heaven there because nobody, we got a lot of guys who play professional, but we got Diego. We went to Mexico with Diego. That was, unbelievable there. It was United States, Brazil, Iran, Portugal. Oof. That was like a 12 or 14 countries, but was Diego there. And when Diego was there, he got the attention. It was nobody else except Diego, and it was great to have that time. We spent, I think, all that time in Argentina. So we see almost every day. And then when we went to Mexico, I was, every morning he wants, hey, let's go have breakfast and let me know more about the game. Because he was very curious about the indoor game with the doors, with the walls, the ball don't get out, the penalties, he wants to do things always to the perfection. So every morning in Mexico, and in the morning we got breakfast together. I was getting my fields and everything, the magnets, and explaining to him, hey, this, and he was just asked me everything, So I spent mostly 2 months. Then that was good. I got the chance to enjoy him. Unbelievable, that was great. It was great.
Well, you bring up Mexico, and if we're going to talk about him, then we can't ignore the 1986 World Cup in Mexico, where he scored what I'm guessing you would say is the best goal he ever scored. It was voted by FIFA as the greatest World Cup goal ever, when he went through, I believe, 5 English field players and the goalie single-handedly. As a former national team player, as someone, born and raised in Argentina, what did that goal and what did that entire World Cup tournament, mean to you and the people of Argentina?
Well, for us, it was just unbelievable, win the World Cup and Diego being the best player of the world at that moment, without a question. There was no doubt for nobody. Besides, the God hand, besides that, in my opinion, and I hear a lot of guys who got the chance, like I did. I play next to him. I play against him. I coach him. I can say without a doubt, to me, he was the best of the best. I see Pelé a little bit when I was young, and so I hate the compare sometimes, and people talk about Pelé, Maradona, Messi. Now, I talk about it for what I see well. I see well, I see he born in soccer, and I see he do what he did, and I got no doubt there was nobody like him. No, nobody. There was not one player who can get to him close. And a lot of the big time players like in Italy or Spain, where he was, everybody say the same because Diego played not just in Argentina. He went to Spain and he was big. He went to Italy and bring a small club and a city to the, and you go to Napoli and you talk about Diego. Oh my God. So, and if you compare it with somebody else, you go compare it with Pelé. Pelé play only in Brazil and a little bit here in the United States. Messi never played nowhere beside Barcelona. So, but it's hard to compare, but Diego was different than everybody else. Diego it was for far, in my opinion, unbelievable, and the World Cup, without a doubt, he was the player of the World Cup. He was the best of the best. And all the guys, all the national team, the big one, Brazil, France, Italy, there's no one of those big players that say he was the best, So because it was his World Cup, he trained for that World Cup like he never did before, and he got that thing inside for the World Cup before in Spain, where he get a red card. He got that part. He was a guy who was so hard out here, so hard, the guy, and he prepared himself to that for that World Cup like he never did before. And he was just, yeah, he got a group to follow him. They follow him. And when you were Argentina, Argentina love him the way it is. It doesn't matter what he did. For Argentina, is everybody goes, thanks to Diego, people knows Argentina. Because when he started playing, people was talking and say about Diego, and they were saying, oh, Maradona, Argentina. Argentina, Maradona. That was what it was. And and the Argentinians, they just love it. And in Argentina, soccer, it is just not a simple game. In Argentina, soccer is life. And he makes everybody happy.
So, you talk about him, and, we're talking about him as this legendary figure, which he is for international soccer. And for most people, we've seen the highlights, and we may have seen newspaper articles or documentaries about him. But as his friend, what was he like, just the two of you spending time together as friends?
Well, he was very simple. Very simple. And inside the group, he was just a normal guy. Sometimes people make too many exceptions of why he did not. He was just a simple guy. We enjoy like that. He enjoy every practice. We make fun of him. He make fun of us. We make jokes. And he was okay. But we always say the same thing. We talk about Diego as a player. All right. We know that outside the field, he was not a perfect guy. He knows that. We know that. But I'm not nobody to judge him off the field. And I think nobody else. He wants to do with his life what he did with his life. We try sometimes with things, but at the end of the day, it was his life. He wants to do it one way. That's it. We respect. When he was with us, he was a perfect guy. We don't have any problem, never, anywhere. Even more, everywhere we went, because of him, we was well received anywhere. When he was in Boca for that year and a half, we went around the world. We just played the Argentinian league, and there was like this, we play Sundays in Argentina, Sundays. So this was the schedule when Diego came to Boca. It was Sunday in Argentina. Many times was Tuesday, Thursday, South America, Argentina exhibition games. All right? Or Sunday, Wednesday, Europe, then Argentina. Was for 1 year and a half. That was the schedule. And everywhere we went, everywhere. I can tell you places that you cannot even imagine, like Kuala Lumpur, India, places where you say, and at that moment, it was not like now that you can touch something here, you see everything in the world, you can ask the computer, take me over here. Where is I did? You got the phone, you got everything. At that time, the communication was not like now. And everywhere we go, I was thousands of people waiting for Diego. It was amazing. Inclusive, we went sometimes to India, and we was going to land, with the plane, and then the plane go up again. Can you imagine inside the plane, us, we was, what's going on? Why that happened? And the pilot, the captain of the plane say, just don't worry, don't get scared, nothing happened, this is. So they are clear the airport because the people was in the where the plane land. We get down, and you cannot imagine how that was. It was people everywhere, but everywhere. I never see something like that in my life. In my life, and everything, Diego. Diego. We was there for 3 days. People was outside of the hotel for 3 days, like I don't know how many people over there just waiting for him to say, you know, he was having that magnet inside the field and the charisma of the field. So he was a complete and everything, Unfortunately, we say he could live more. Yes, he probably could go longer, but he chose his life like all of us do, and we love it. For what we spent with him, none of us, none of the teammates ever judged him for what he was off the field because each one of us do what we're supposed to do. Our life, it was his life, and that was it, So, but for us, is to be always in the best memories, always.
Lastly, how will you remember Diego Maradona?
To me, like the greatest, the best of all time, without a doubt, without a doubt. And like I said, I see my time, no, I see players like Johan Cruyff, Zico, Platini, Van Basten, Gulli, Baresi. I can give you names and players that unbelievable. And Diego was above everybody, but for far. And I'm not the only one who say that, That's why sometimes you can say, oh, you're Argentina, and you say that. Now, go to Italy, go to Brazil, go to Spain, go to anywhere you want it, and talk to those big guys who got the chance to play against him or with him, and you will see what I'm talking to you. Like I say, Pelé was fantastic. My dad always make sure that I know about Pelé. He was always told me, but in my time, this is what I see. And I don't know. I don't know if one day I'm going to see somebody better than him. We're lucky. We got Messi. I know an Argentinian guy, I love him. It's great, fantastic. But I don't think it's Diego. I don't think, Diego was only one. That's it,
Now it's the time in the show where we answer your questions. Sometimes it's Ask the Owner. Today it's going to be Ask the Coach. If you would like to ask a question to the show, you can submit them to FC Milwaukee Torrent Facebook page or on Twitter at MKE Torrent. And our first question today comes from JB, who is at MKE Kicks. And JB asks the coach, what do you see as the greatest difference between the game in South America and the United States?
Well, South America, I think it's the tradition, We got this for a long time, and growing up was the only thing we do, just play soccer. So soccer for us is just a little bit more than a game, that passion that, you can see it anywhere, not just when you play, in the street with everybody. Everybody talk about soccer. When you start talking about soccer in Argentina, it is everybody talk. Grandma, grandpa, everybody. You get in the food table, and Sundays when everybody eat the barbecue, and it is that. It's just you get that fanatic base, because you love one club or you like something, and it's just, and here they still growing. There's so many sport. It was not the American sport, soccer. It was baseball, American football, basketball. There's many sports before soccer. So, but little by little, I think we are building it, and I think then we need to keep doing that. We need just to do it the younger, the youth. That's where we have to building. Sometimes we organize it too much, you know, so you don't develop that passion. When I was young, I don't have a coach. I never have a coach until the age of 14. I didn't know what I was a coach. So I was a coach of my thing. You know, I was a coach, equipment manager, the doctor. I was everything, you know, because when we play with your friends, you know, I was not nobody there. So you do what you wanted to do. And here sometimes everything is too organized, too much, too much. You get to the point that you tell the kid, this is your schedule in soccer, and soccer don't have that, you know. So soccer, you got to let players develop the passion, and you can give some information, of course, you know, you can give some information, but at the moment they play, you got to let players play the game, and we need to develop that passion. I think we are going in the right direction, and but it's going to take more time to be the same, like, for example, like South America. You know, South America, it is that passion. And like I said to you before, the game is a little bit more than the game. You know, and sometimes people don't understand that when we say that, but you have to be there. You know, I know every year I took teams to Argentina. I go, my teams take it there, and when I get there, the parents and the players, the first thing that they tell me it is the intensity. I say, Coach, what intensity? I say, hey, at the moment you start, when you get into the field, you know, there is no friends, no family, no nothing. You just want to play, you're going to win the game. And, so, and that's what everybody told me. Every time we go to Argentina, that's the first thing the American people tell me. The intensity, the passion. Doesn't matter what kind of player, what level. They say, with what a passion they play. You know, and I say, this is what, you know, you can bring this over there. You got this. It is every day about soccer. It is, for us, it's 24/7. It's not 2 hours a day. You know, it's not that. It's 24/7. Even if we play or we don't. We talk if we don't play. And when we play, we don't talk. We play. So, you know.
That's great. Our next and last question comes from a longtime Torrent supporter, Mike Justman. And Mike asks, which players in their prime would you love to sign for FC Milwaukee Torrent?
Talking about outside of the country, anybody right now?
Sure, why not?
Sure,
why not? That's what he's got.
Know, like I say, I would like to have Messi, you know, because
I'd pay to see that.
Who don't like that, you know? And you know, I think we signed everybody I got the last season. You know, those guys who came with me the first year with me. You know, then we go there. I know Andy, David did it before, and but those guys, I think, you know, they did a good job. A lot of those guys, I think, and I told David the first day we meet all those guys in the field and say, you're going to have guys here, then they whatever you ask them, they will do it for you, you know, and a lot of those guys, they will love to come back and play. I will sign without a doubt those guys who play for me and for the Torrent last season that we play, you know, because I think that they give something. Sometimes people don't know, you know, but a lot of those guys make a lot of sacrifice to come here. They came from Argentina, from Brazil, from Colombia, and just to play, you know, and I give it a lot of credit to players who do that. And I know David knows, and I think he likes a lot of those guys because of that, you know. Sometimes, unfortunately, you can get him back, you know, for different reasons. But a lot of those guys who played for us last season, I can bring them with just in a second like this if they can do it, because I know and David know, and I think the people who watch them play, they just came here and leave their families. A lot of them, they leave families, and like I say, in Argentina, Colombia, Brazil, come from just to play, you know. And I think Andy, David, he recognized that. He knows that. and we can like it or not as a players. Sometimes everybody got different taste. Soccer is like that, but in terms of their heart, they give everything to make sure that the tournament was just very competitive. So I will sign any of those guys back. Like I said, Messi could be one. After Messi, I get those boys without a doubt.
Perfect. Well, we got some good options if Messi doesn't work out, and we look forward to seeing you guys back on the field in 2021 here. This is FC Milwaukee Torrent coach Carlos Cordoba. Caucho, thank you so much for your time, for answering your questions, and for most importantly, remembering your friend Diego Maradona. We appreciate you being here today.
No, I really appreciate your time. I just want to thank you to the fans, because they're supporting us. I can see it. I see it when Andy David do something, when he talk to people, when he talk about the new uniform, the new jersey, and then you see a lot of people there. So it is great. For me, it was a great season. I enjoy it a lot. I know we're going to have a young team of the future, but we will be ready to compete with anybody. I think everything is there. It's good owners, good board, good fans, and we got to make sure that everybody who comes to play for the tournament knows exactly that we can play good, bad, or so-so. That's part of the game. But our heart, our passion, our intensity is non-negotiable. And anybody who came to play for us, fans can go to sleep without a problem, because any player who comes to play for us, we have that, which is for us is very, very important. Then the intensity, the passion, then defending the colors is not negotiable. Besides of play good or bad, that's part of the game. Anybody can play good or bad, but the intensity, the effort, dedication is not negotiable, and players know that, and we're happy that we're building that with David, and I think he's happy because of that, so thank you everybody, and I hope I see you soon in the fields,
That brings to a close the latest episode of Anchored in Milwaukee, the official FC Milwaukee Torrent podcast. A reminder, we are now available on Spotify, along with YouTube and the Torrent Facebook page. Look for us soon on many other podcast platforms. If you are interested in season tickets or the new rebranded FC Milwaukee Torrent merchandise, visit our website, www.milwaukeetorrent.com. Be sure to check out the Torrent on Facebook or Twitter at MKETorrent. A special thanks to our guest, men's coach Carlos Cordoba, and a special thank you to you for listening. I'm your host, Luke Neitzel. This episode was produced and edited by Jaden Stevenson. Until next time, stay anchored together.